Surah Takathur is only 8 ayahs. That's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. A surah again that is a reminder for the day of judgment, for the akhirah. And it starts with this warning when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ألهاكم التكاثر. Alha, yulhi, or lahu means you got busy with what? With takathur. What's takathur? Trying to collect the maximum of what? Of wealth, of properties, or anything else which is a worldly things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, you got too busy and trying to collect the money or anything else in this world, because every human being wants to have more. Whoever has a house, he wants more. Who has 1 million, he wants more. Who has children, he wants more. So in anything in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said you want more. And you are busy challenging, fighting, disputing, in what? In only trying to collect more. So as Allah said, Al-Hakum, it takes you away from the main goal, from the main purpose of your existence. We know that our existence, they are something permissible, and they are something which is the goal of this life. The goal of this life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you will be rewarded with Jannah. But in the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made many things permissible for you. It's permissible for you to live your life, to have money, to have a beautiful life, to have whatever you want. That's allowed. But if this takes you away completely from the main goal, it means you're going to lose. Because most of the time we try to justify ourselves or justify the way how we live this life, that if you are busy, you say, oh, I am busy because amal is a ibadah. Many people, they will repeat that word. But actually, when you say it's like a ibadah, but it's not really the main ibadah. The main ibadah is, it has to be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the amal of someone in this world, if it's not for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it's not a ibadah anymore. It's actually one of your way of your collecting the money. And because of that, you get involved in many things. You get involved in fighting, disputing, lying, backbiting, whatever you mean it, cheating. And then in the end, you say, this is a ibadah. How the ibadah could have all this? And that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, again, in some of the athars say, like, the worst place that he doesn't like is the market. Why? Because everything is in the market. People are lying, cheating, whatever is that. Anyway, going back, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, Alhaakum takathur. You got busy with this takathur, trying to earn more and more for everything. Hatta, until what? Zortumul maqabir. Until you found yourself, you are in the graves. And that happened to most of us. Many times we don't even realize how the years pass. All of a sudden you realize, oh, I am 60 years old. I'm 50 years old. I'm 70. You don't even know how it went too far, too fast. You are involved in many things, and then you just realize, sometimes you don't want to even open your eyes to realize that you are closer to death than anything else. And definitely, every day we are much closer to our death. Right now, I'm much closer to my death than 10 years ago, or than 5 years ago, or than 20 years ago. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, until you are in the grave right now. Now that thakatur, that kind of trying to collect the money, anything in this world stuff, how that will benefit you once you are in the grave. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. You will definitely know. You will definitely know what? The truth. Which is we are mostly blind from seeing the truth once we are in this life. Yes, sometimes we act like we know the truth, but in reality we don't act that way. We see people dying around us every day, but it doesn't look like that affect us. We see the people that they are in our age or even younger, they passed away in front of our eyes, but that not change our actions, doesn't change our behavior, doesn't change even our personality. We realize that we took a route and it's not working, but still you are insisting in going in that route. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. Definitely you will know. And definitely you will definitely know. Actually, the sentence is used in the present tense and also used in the future tense. So you will know right now and you will know also in the future. Right now we're going to see a lot of things which will give us an opening eye. And definitely once we are in the grave, we're going to see it even better. كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. You know, if you really knew the real truth, we are completely 100% sure. What do we mean by that? If someone tells me some information, I may trust that person. And I have some knowledge about it. So I have ilm about it. But if I see things with my own eyes, there's a difference between someone telling me and I saw things with my own eyes. Or you know what? It's not only I saw with my own eyes, but actually I had that experience. I lived that experience. My knowledge will be even stronger. And that's exactly what this ayah is telling us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you about the akhirah, that you're going to be in the grave. So you have knowledge about it. But once you are in the grave, you will have even a better knowledge about it. Because you feel it, you see it, you realize it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. If you really have the real truth, the absolute truth, what you will see, لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. You will even see the Jahim. It's another name of fire. Number one, the Prophet ﷺ told us that once a person he is in his grave, there will be an open door for him. If he is from the people of Jannah, he will see his place in Jannah. And he will see it, and it's going to be very clear. And he will have more, he will be more confident that this is the reality, this is the truth. And if he is from the people of the hellfire, he will also have an open door and he will see the hellfire. So he will be sure also about it, subhanAllah. And this is the ilm that, for example, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had more than anyone else. Because we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, once he was in the Isra and Mi'raj, he saw with his own eyes a lot of people that they are in the hellfire and they are being punished. Those that they backbite, those that they don't pray on time, those that they eat the riba, those who are involved in illegal sexual relation, those he saw them. He saw how they are being punished, subhanAllah. And he saw even Jannah. He saw people in Jannah, and he saw other prophets and messengers, subhanAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ. This is the absolute truth, that you will see it and you will be sure about it. But once you are in that situation, and that's the hard part, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Once you are in that situation, now the truth, the absolute truth, nothing is going to stop you from seeing the truth and feeling it. Then you will be asked about what? About an-na'im. What is an-na'im? The comfort that you are enjoying in this life. You are enjoying a lot of comfort. And you may say, I am the most miserable person in this world. I am the poorest person. I am not a lucky person. But then when you see the na'im, the comfort or the blessing that you are enjoying, you will see it. If any of us, we just take a little small short trip to just the closest hospital to us, right? And he goes to the people who are right there, suffering for the last probably a month, more or less. They cannot walk, they cannot breathe, they cannot talk. I see how I am in ni'mah that other people don't have. Or the news we see it every day, and then we act like we really feel for them, our brothers and sisters in Gaza, for example, and what was happening to them for the last whole entire year or more. Compare your comfort and their comfort. Our brothers and sisters, again, in other places of the world, you have water whenever you want. Water is there available for you. And something, no, I don't want this one, I want another one, I want sweet one, I want the one that has more whatever. They don't have that option. If they have the water, they are okay. The food that you have, no, I want the spicy, I want the sweet, I am on diet, I don't want to eat this. That a comfort that you have. They don't have those options. You will be questioned about this. All the ni'am that we are enjoying, and you don't appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it, and you don't pay the shukr for it, either wordly by saying alhamdulillah, or action by giving also something to help the others, will be definitely questioned about that. If we move on from Surah Al-Takathur, we'll be in Surah Al-Asr. It's a short surah, probably one of the shortest surahs in the Quran. It's only 3 ayahs, but the scholars spoke a lot about it, like Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah. He said if there's even only this surah, it's more than enough for a person to know the value of this word. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, wal asr. He swears by the time, if you want. Asr, it means the time. It means also the Asr prayer. But the Asr prayer is also a time in the day. But in general, the word in Arabic, Asr means the time. Wal asr, innal insana lafi khusr. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, human being, he's always in loss. And that's true. Every day we are losing. In general, we are losing some of our days of life. Next day, I will have less days to live. And so on. Everyone. Anything you do, anything you do. Any action, any action. And if you make a small calculation about yourself, say, compare myself yesterday to today, last year to this year, am I better? Am I making better? Or I'm worse? Or I'm just the same? No, nothing is the same. But is it for everyone? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave the good news. He said, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Except. So everyone else on this world, he is a loss. So don't think that the people are enjoying this beautiful life. And they have a lot. They are enjoying, oh, they are better than you. They are a loss. Unless they have something called belief. Anything without belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a loss. And that's why there is nothing worse than the kufr. So anything else, it could be punishable, it could be something bad, but kufr is the worst thing, because you will be like nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even when He spoke to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He said to him, وَلَئِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ. Imagine the a'mal of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from the first day to the last day. Every day, he remembers Allah all the time. His salat, his sawm, his a'mal, his niyat, his good deeds with the man, with the woman, with the children, with the Muslims, with non-Muslims. With all those a'mal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling him directly, وَلَئِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ. If you commit shirk, لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ. If you commit shirk, all your a'mal will be gone. Multiply by 0. Who? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So any human being, if he's committing shirk, nothing will count for that person in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In front of the people, they may like it, they may appreciate that, they may praise that person, but it's not going to help. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Every human being, he is a loss. Unless what? He has number 1. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. But that's enough? No, that's not enough. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Believe and good deeds, subhanallah. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. These 2 words, again, is the key. تَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. They go for the truth. They go for the justice. The way how our world is around us is full with injustice. Dhulm. Everywhere. A little dhulm, a big dhulm, a small dhulm, to the brothers, to the sisters, to the spouse, to the children, to the uncles, to the father, to the mom. to the employees, to the employers, to the Muslims, to the non-Muslims. If you don't pay the haqq for those people, you are among the people that you are in loss. You will be losing. You have a lot of good deeds, and you are a mu'min, but your dhulm will take you everything away from you. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. You are in a situation, but this is your brother, and that's not your brother. But the haqq is with the other one who is not your brother. You will go for against your brother, and you will stand for the haqq. If you do, you are among those people who are not in loss. But if you stand against the haqq, you are in loss. I remember Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, when he was being put in prison, just because he stood up for the idea of khalqul Quran against the Mu'tazila. It's a big fitna that happened to the Muslims about kalamullah, is it makhluq, is not makhluq. I'm not going to go for that details, but he was being put in prison, and every day they take him out and they tell him, say that Quran is makhluq. Otherwise, you will go back again to the prison and they will beat him up badly. And he's an old man. Every day. Probably after a couple of years, As-Sajjan, the guard of the prison, he felt bad for Al-Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He knows him very well. And he knows he's a great man, a pious person. He doesn't do anything bad, but he's in prison because he goes against the will or the ideology established by the king at that time. So he felt bad and he asked him this question. Am I counted as a'wanu al-zalama? Am I counted as the helpers of the oppressors? Because for him, the oppressor is the king. He's the one who put him in prison. But this guy is just his job. He said, am I counted also as a helper for the oppressor? He said, no. You are the oppressor also. So anyone who is involved in the dhulm, he's a part of it. He's not only a helper. Going back, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. The other one, which is other key, which is even, I don't want to say if it's bitter, it's even harder, is to be a patient person. Everything in our life depends on how patient we are. We get angry, we get frustrated, but mostly sabr, it will help more than anything else. Without sabr, nothing would work. Even a woman needs to have sabr to carry the baby for 9 months and to take care of the baby. He's growing, he's crying, he is spoiling, whatever. And the more they grow up, the children, subhanAllah, we need more sabr with them. They are toddlers, they are teenagers, they are adults, but actually you need to have sabr for them even more. Most of the time we think, oh, once my child is, now he's an adult, okay, now I'm okay. No, it's not okay. Probably you need more sabr with him than anything else. With your daughters the same way, subhanAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us about this dunya. If you don't want to be in loss, you do have to be a believer, doing good deeds, staying with the haqq, and have the sabr with you also. Again, just like the last example that I said, a person who has issues with the family, if he does not have sabr, he may lose them also. It could be. Sometimes you're angry with your own spouse and for little things, okay, I don't have sabr, why should I have sabr? Okay, I will go for the divorce. And you'll go for the divorce. There's no sabr from your side. Probably you could save that marriage. Probably you could save that situation. But sabr is not there. And look at the case of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and all the Anbiya and Rasul. Sabr was the key for success for all of them, subhanAllah. The last surah that we'll be also going over, it's Surah Al-Humazah, which is something very similar to the surah of the At-Takathur. Most of the time we should relate both of them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Woe, wail. It's a dua against someone. For a person, he's a humaza and lumaza. A person, let's say, he spread rumors. He talked bad about people. He slandered others. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He warned that person. And then He talked about that person. Who is he? The historians said probably this ayah about a specific person. But in general they say for anyone else who had those kind of characters. He backbites, he spread rumors, he liked to label people with certain names. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, He's the one who is warning him. And He said about that person, who is he? الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ. So this person, he collected a lot of wealth. And he counted and he sees, now I do have. And that comes sometimes to our mind. Say the money that I have right now in my bank account, or the asset that I have, or the properties, even if I don't have to work for the next 20, 30 years, it will be more than enough for me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَ. He thinks that this wealth, this money of him, will make him khalid, he will stay forever. Or even if he stays for a longer life, he's not going to be hurt, he's not going to be harmed. He had enough money. He already collected that much money, subhanAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كَلَّا, no way, لَيُنْبَذَنَّ فِي الْحُطَمَةِ. He will be thrown in what? Al-Hutama is one of the names of Jahannam. Al-Hutama comes from the word hatama, yahtimu, or hattama, yuhattimu. They mean something that breaks the things in pieces. It destroys anything. So it's like Jahannam, when a person is being put there, it's swallowed, anything. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةِ. Stones and human, everybody is scared from Jahannam. So Allah said, كَلَّا لَيُنْبَذَنَّ فِي الْحُطَمَةِ. He will be thrown in this hutama, in the fire of Jahannam. Then Allah said, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْحُطَمَةِ. Do you know what is really this hutama? What is it? نَارُ اللَّهِ الْمُوقَدَةِ. It is the fire which is made, burning, with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الَّتِي تَطَّلِعُ عَلَى الْأَفْئِدَةِ. This fire knows, because of the knowledge of Allah, knows what's in the heart of the human being. We all try to give the best image about ourselves when we walk in the street. Sometimes you dress up nicely so you look nice. You smile so you look nice. You say nice words. You are much better outside than inside. Inside probably you don't even say excuse me. But outside say excuse, oh, you go first. You're trying to be the best. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in the heart. If it's for the sake of Allah or for the sake of others, subhanallah. التي تطلع على الأفئدة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إنها عليهم مؤصدة. This fire that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, and it's hutama, it destroys everything. إنها عليهم مؤصدة. It will be closed. Once the person is in the hellfire, the fire will be closed. There's no way out. Imagine, and all of us, we know this. If the stove is on and you put your finger for 30 seconds, no way. 5 seconds, that's too much. 1 second, you get burned and you take it out. And you cannot. And if you don't want to even try one more time. Even a child, if he does one time, he doesn't want to do it again because he knows that is fire. Imagine this fire that the people will be thrown inside and will be locked. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again, in a very scary way, He said, كُلَّمَا نَضِجَتْ جُلُودُهُمْ بَدَّلْنَاهُمْ جُلُودًا غَيْرَهَا لِيَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whenever their skin are being burned, because what feels the pain is the skin. So when the skin is being burned now completely, right, it's gone, roasted. Allah said, I'll give him a new skin, لِيَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابَ. So they will feel the pain. And it will never finish. In some other places, it says that the people tells the angel of the hellfire, وَقَالُوا يَا مَالِكُ. Malik is the name of the guard of the hellfire. Tell your Lord just to finish us, to kill us. They want death. Say, no, there's no death in the hereafter. He will stay like that forever. إِنَّهَا عَلَيْهِمْ مُؤْصَدَةٌ فِي عَمَدٍ مُمَدَّدَةٍ. So the extension of the years in Jahannam, it will be forever. It's a very scary when description of the Jahannam comes. And again, just imagine, our life, it will be what? 100 years, if we live that long. But that 100 years, it will qualify you for either forever in Jannah, or forever in Jahannam. So it's not really worth it. This 100 years, if we live 100 years. And if we live a good 100 years, if you take your life, for example, say how many days or years that really could count that I was enjoying and it's so beautiful, so nice, which is worth it. You say, okay, how many? Your child probably, during your childhood probably was okay. But after you say, I struggled. It was very difficult for me to go to school, to find a job with the people, to go to... so I cannot count really how many years I had. Sometimes, yeah, but actually this sometimes this few years or few months that you counted, that is actually what either lead you to forever in Jannah or forever in Jahannam. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all of us and make us among the people that they will know the truth and they will follow it. وَأَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لَكُمْ وَجَمِيعَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. If you have any comments or questions, inshallah. Yes, brother.
I know Islam, brother, you said